All right, so I'm going to finish up with this cases hierarchy thing, and then we'll move on to another topic, attractors, and keep moving forward. Let's see. So what I'm going to do is, we talked about hierarchy in cases. I'm going to put that diagram back up. And then we're going to talk about some slightly different aspect of scaling, and then I'll give you a homework assignment, which of course I'll also write up online. But first, a little, I'm going to put the diagram, the hierarchy diagram up. Brief interlude. I'm sure that was fascinating. We'll go through all this mess, but this is the infected, mild cases, serious cases, severe cases, critical cases, and deaths. Recovery goes up, and the disease progresses across this way. So this was our hierarchy on cases. Now, the way that we're thinking about this is, and the way that there's a lot more detail. I think I've got most of the arrows right. I've left out a lot of arrows on the other one. But of the people who become infected, some portion of those people remain asymptomatic. And we think that FA, the fraction of people who are asymptomatic, is equal to 30%. Which means that the people who are infected, so you either recover or you progress. So the fractional, and the numbers I'm going to present are for the fraction that recover, which is nice. But then the fraction that progress is 1 minus the fraction. So 1 minus FA is equal to 70%. So that says that 70% of people who are infected, become infected with the novel coronavirus, who develop COVID-19, the disease related to the virus, 70% of those go on to develop a mild case of coronavirus. Now I need to get my cheat sheet here. The numbers that I'm using here, I think I noticed in the file. These numbers come from the Lancet paper that I've provided a link to, and some from Dr. Vuong video that I've pointed to. All right, so 30%. Oh, and this number comes from another reference, the 30%. All right, so then the people who develop mild symptoms, so the fraction of people who recover from a mild case is equal to 80%. And then 1 minus the fraction that recover from a mild case is 20%. So 20% of these folks go on to develop a severe case of COVID-19. Now, of the folks that develop severe symptoms, that is, and I've lost track of exactly, but basically it's severe, you've been hospitalized. So the fraction of people who recover from a severe case is 69%. That's not too bad, 69%. Which means that the flip side of that, of course, is that the people who go on, progress to a critical case is 31%. These numbers here are definitely based on the Lancet paper, and take a look at that and you can see where they come from. You'll have to do a little thinking to get this number. So once you're here, you're on a ventilator. And here, Vuong gives a number for the people who don't recover. So that's 1 minus FRC. So that number, he gives a range of 70 to 86%. So that means that the people who do recover is 30 to 14%. Now these numbers, of course, well, I don't know of course, but by now you've probably all caught on that the age structure of a population that's been infected, that has community spread, well, has COVID-19 circulating, the coronavirus circulating, these numbers vary by age. So to make, and I don't have, but in each of these, well, we'll just do it like this. There's a circle, a parameter that is age structure. And it goes in there, and there. So age structure plays a role in this as well. Now, in the earthquake video, I made the analogy to between small and large earthquakes of the sort of saturation of a resource. And Vuong is very worried about that in his Why the Death Rate's going to Go Up video. So what will happen is that these relationships, the relationship particularly at this end of the spectrum, will change. So the scaling of how the disease progresses and how it manifests in a population will change when we hit the boundaries on medical resources. So let's now put the medical resources back into this diagram. I'm going to have to take some of this away because I have a small whiteboard. Right. So let's put medical resources back in here, and we'll see. So medical resources. OURCES. So we have two challenges with medical resources right now. For the purposes now, I'm going to do this and this. So this is what did I call this? Procurement, mobilization. Mobilization is a better word. Mobilization. And then over here, of course, is then use. Now, mild cases go home. They drink lots of water. They sleep, and by all intents and purposes, they just feel like crap. Severe cases. However, use medical resources. As do, let's flip it around. The number of the stock of severe cases is going to control the rate at which we use medical resources. Similarly, the stock of critical cases is going to control the rate at which we use medical resources. Now, interestingly, I've left mild cases out. Think about that, and because that'll come in when I make the assignment for your this week's assignment. So as and in some sense, I've just argued that how can I do it here? That medical resources is going to be a threshold on that. Similarly, it's going to be a threshold on the things that I'm pointing to, because I'm sure this has gotten totally out of control now. So the fraction of people who recover or move, actually, so it should go out to the recovery one, is going to be influenced at the very least by the availability of medical resources. And the sun's coming out and making a glare on my screen. So let's stop there for now. And let me talk about your assignment. I want you to do basically what I've done for cases. I want you to do for medical resources. And I would like you to take, just sort of prioritize. It's going to be tough to put an actual number. But as you think about what are some of the pieces of medical resources, and Vuong talks about it a little bit. I've seen a paper somewhere that did it, but when I find it, I'll stick it online. But you can imagine it. So build out medical resources, kind of as we've done for cases, and then think about which are the ones that are most limiting. And as you think about those limits, think about perhaps some connections that I've left out of this diagram. So this one's a diagram. You can add some explanatory notes if you want, but this assignment is a diagram. It's due a week from today. let's use the assignment turning in feature of that Canvas thing. I think some of you turned in your midterm that way. So figure out how to turn in assignments through Canvas, and I will update I think this week's assignment is a TBD, and I will get that updated as quickly as possible. All right, I hope you all are doing well. I know that this is a stressful time. Part of the slowness this week has been stress here in the house. Nothing terrible, just me grappling a bit with the black dog. And have a good weekend. I'm going to hopefully, well, I will do another one, but that's moving on to the next topic for next week. All right, more to come.